Welcome to Fellowship of Games. I'm John.
I'm Dawn.
And we're here to do a setup and how to play of Santa vs. Krampus, the dice throwing game.
This dice throwing game is one, didn't you get this as a Kickstarter?
About a year ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is published by Roxley Games. Dice throwing games are compatible, so this is a 2-player version, but they are compatible with other dice throwing games. This is ages 8 and up, 2 to 6 players, although this particular version is 2. About 30 minutes, give or take, per every 2 people. I wouldn't say it's per player. This one has artwork by Manny Tremblay, Nate Chatelier, and Gavin Brown. So welcome and join us at the table as we set this up and show you how to play it. All right, so now we're going to get started setting up this dice throwing game, and I'm going to read the instructions and John's going to set it out for us. So this is the Santa versus Krampus edition. So you'll see that all of the dice throwing games come really nicely packaged. Don't you like the way they come, John?
Yeah, they all come in a tray. The setup's actually pretty non-existent.
Yeah, for these it is. So I'm going to be Santa, John's going to be Krampus, and as you see, these, you could even use this as a dice rolling tray, really and truly, this lid. So your board is included, it comes out.
This shows you all your skills.
Yep, and we'll go over, this is the player board, so everybody, and even, like I said, we could merge this with other dice throwing games. We have a lot of dice throwing games, but everybody has a unique player board. And then these are your players' special skills. So like for Santa, it shows you a complexity rating, green, yellow, red. So he's yellow. Krampus is also yellow, so they're moderate complexity. Some of them are super easy, like in the base version. And then some are more difficult to play. And then also it gives you, on this side it just has rule clarifications, but on this side it has his special skills. So like for Santa, he has cheer, that gives him a positive status effect, but he has a stack limit of 3. And then eggnog has a positive status effect with a stack limit of 5. So Krampus, what does he have, John? Let's see what he's got. You want to read it out, or?
Sure.
His special effects?
Special effects. He has coal, gift, and rejects. Those are his tokens and his abilities. And his dice have switches, jingle, presents, and horns.
Okay. And we're going to put these out. This is interesting. I was going to say these got shifted. I was looking at that. It's got a stack limit and I didn't have 5. I was like, wait a minute. All right, so the player board, the special skills of whoever you happen to be playing, in this case Santa and Krampus, these are the tokens that when we put these special skills into effect, depending on what they are, like the positive status effect, I'm probably going to want to play that on me, but it does have a stack limit of 3, so I'm only going to be able to put 3 at a time on Santa. If we were playing like a 4-person game where I had a partner, I could also give them this other positive status. So I'm not going to use these in this game because I'm probably not going to want to give Krampus positive effects since he's my opponent. All right, and then the eggnog we talked about. All right, so those are the tokens, player board. We all get our own custom card deck. So we'll have to shuffle these up, and it looks like John actually sleeved these, so these are really nice. I guess this edition came with the sleeves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to shuffle. I'm going to let you shuffle that. Okay. And then this is our combat points. So we start with 2. So we both start with 2. So while he's shuffling me, I'm going to set him to 2. And they always start with 2 in these games. I can't think of when they wouldn't. You're limited to a max of 15, and if it would ever go over 15, you just can't do it. I don't think I've ever gotten 15. No. You'll also, sorry for reaching over you. This is our health. And I believe we start with, let me double check how much health we start with. Everybody starts with the same amount of health, and 50 for a 1 versus 1 game. So we're 1-on-1, so we'll start with 50. And when you get to 0, whoever goes to 0 first, you lose. And if the rules of the game are that it goes around, then and more than one person went to 0, whoever dies in that final round is over. But in a 1 versus 1, I believe it's going to be the first one to go to 0. That is cute. I guess these are our...
Those are standees if you do the Dice on Adventures
Okay.
or the Marvel Adventures.
Nice. Okay.
So they're just kind of set
So
aside
cute.
for this point of the game.
So I got a Santa. He's got a Krampus over there. Also, you notice we each got our own custom set of dice. So Santa has the axe. He chops down trees. That's his attack. He's got his good cheer that gives him special abilities such as fireside chat. And then he has his super skill is the star, like the Star of David looking star.
Ultimate.
Yeah, so, and it also gives him his Holly Jolly attack. So you'll notice these dice throwing boards have a lot of a Yahtzee-esque feel, and that's by design. Oh look, he also got a special...
That's the epic card. You can use that in normal game. It's done a little different. We won't use it in this one.
Mythic Santa.
Yeah, the Mythic Santa. That's if you have the other
Nice.
characters it adds into it.
All right.
And Krampus has an additional deck that he uses for his gifts that do different effects.
That is cool. We'll do a playthrough here in a bit, so we'll go through that. So now that we've talked about the components of the board, and then John, I've got your, that should be 50. If you'll set that to 50 and put your tokens out. Thank you, sir. And then we will just make sure we talk about everything. So this was the setup. Let's talk a little bit about the board. So this is called our hero board, and on it we have different sections. So on the board, we have this section here is your offensive ability. You can activate this at the end of your offensive roll, and these are printed on here, but you'll see their card size. So as we buy cards and upgrade, we'll stack on top of this. So offensive ability here on all of these, and then right here, these will have an activation requirement. So these will do damage usually, but they will always have an activation requirement. This one is always an attack also. I would say both of these would be considered, no, that's offense and that's attack. So
they're all just skills. They're just really
that you use at different sizes. And we'll go over the play order in just a moment. And then over here, these are his special abilities. Like he has a Holly Jolly ability. He can gain 2 cheer and 3 eggnog if he has 4 of these stars. And then this is your small straight and your large straight. These pretty much, some of them are a bonus and some do an attack. So again, very Yahtzee, 4 of a kind, small straight, large straight, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind, and then this is a, what's it called when you hit, and I don't know, but it's very similar to Yahtzee. And then this is always going to be your defense die in the bottom right. So the defense die can stack up. You can get more cards, and like some of them have a random, like on this one, if I roll a certain combination, I get one thing, a different combination, I get another, but when I'm having to defend, I would use this stat over here. So it's really easily laid out. And then as John said earlier, this is your ultimate ability. And the biggest thing about the ultimate ability, and you'll see it in our playthrough if one of us gets lucky enough to use it, it'll say during your offensive, some of these cards will say during your offensive phase, you can counteract movements. This one you can't. Once it's triggered, it's triggered.
Once it's triggered, you can't override it.
Yep.
And like some damage is defendable, but that one is not.
Yeah. It's really, like I said, real quick setup, not very difficult to play. Let's talk about turn order. So during turn order, it comes with a little card to help, but you have an upkeep phase. Also I forgot to start out the game, we each get our top 4 cards. You start out with 4 cards. So and then after we each get 4 cards, we roll a die. So John roll a die. Whoever rolls highest goes first. I rolled a 2. He rolled a 5. He goes first. So since he's going first, your upkeep phase, you get to draw a card, and then you get to gain a combat point every time during the upkeep phase. And then you get to decide, well, that's okay. Upkeep phase, you do your status effects.
Your status effects.
So if I have a positive status effect going, I would get that. Next is income phase. You gain a combat point, you gain a card, and then you do your main phase. You can upgrade anything, like I can spend combat points. Like if we look at some of these, they're color coded. So the main phase, the orange is the offense, the blue is the main phase, and then this red is pretty much anytime you need to, right? That's the one you can do anytime. Okay. So, for example, during your main phase, if I had enough combat points, this one's 0. So I could rebel without a clause. I could upgrade this particular stat. This lets me roll a die. Oh, this isn't a stat. This is a bonus.
Yeah.
And I get what it says. This one says Vegas, baby. Also 0 combat points. So I could actually do both of these and get whatever bonuses are on here immediately if I wanted to. And then after the main phase, I can choose in a one versus one. We're just trying to run out the health. We're trying to basically put him to 0 or me to 0, or we're both going to be trying to do that at the same time. So then I would attack as my offensive phase. Then he would defend, and then some of his. If you have more than 2 players, when you announce your offensive, you have to say who you're attacking. So in a 3-player game, there's a King of the Hill version where you would say, okay, like Santa, Krampus, and we're playing Thor. I'm just picking somebody, or the gunslinger, or whoever, the samurai. If the samurai has the highest points, of course I want to probably target him. So there's a strategy to it.
And that also gives the other players benefits to tack on cards to it as well.
Yeah. So King of the Hill, it's basically, it changes throughout the game, but it's 2 against 1. And then the 4-player, you're playing in teams, and it's like one member of the team, the other member opposite. So you're going to go and you're going to take turns on the teams. And then if you get into a 5 or 6, I think 6-player, it's 2 and 2 and 2, and whoever wins that one, it's like a elimination round. And I've never played it with 5, but
the more people you add, the more time it gains exponentially. So 3 is, to me, the magic number, because it's I like the King of the Hill game, and that go through your cards quicker too.
True.
When you hit 4 players, it starts stacking up. It's good though.
So, and then I was just talking about the cards too. So you do your main phase, you do your offensive phase, and these are bonuses to the offensive phase that also cost combat points. And then the red, I could do it anytime. So this one just lets me spend a combat point to draw 2 cards. So if it was the beginning of my hand and I needed cards, I could just play that. After you do upkeep, income, main phase, offense, target if it's more than 2, defense, then you end with a main phase, and then last is discard phase. I can't have more than 6 cards, but I can sell them. So at the very beginning, during upkeep, I could, well, I guess that'd be income actually. I could sell cards if I wanted to sell all of these. I could just sell them and get 4 combat points and do something with benefits I already have. Or at the end, at discard, I could also sell them. So that's really, I mean, there's nuances to these cards, and there's nuances to each individual character's their additional abilities, but
every character is different.
Yeah, they're all different. So that's a good point. Yeah. They're not all the same, so that makes it really fun to try different characters. It really does. So with that said, that is a quick, like I said, the setup, non-existent. The how to play, that's basically it. That's enough to get you started, and then you can read the abilities and decide, what you want to do, and read your special statuses and decide what you want to do. But it's pretty self-explanatory, and they do all come with a great rule book, and it will clarify, like it will say, even on the back of this Santa card, it has clarifications, like very specific. I don't think I've ever found one that I couldn't find the answer here. Like, for example, damage from eggnog. Isolated damage is dealt immediately. It counts as a separate instance of damage, regardless of any other damage dealt in the same phase. So they're clarifying the special abilities, the commonly asked questions or facts. They're clarifying it before you ever start. So.
And it's on the clarification, these are specific to this character.
Yeah, these are Santa's special abilities, and these are facts about his special abilities. And then in general, to add to John's point, here's where it talks about the 3 and 4 player games and all that. But this also has a lot of information on what order do you resolve the text, what order do you take the actions, how do you handle all the status effects. So, you know, it's quick to set up, quick to play, and then with this, you can pretty much dive into it very easily. It's a very quick game to learn. We played it for the first time at PAX South. And somebody showed us in 5 minutes we were going. And we liked it so much, we bought a bunch of their sets.
Yeah, we bought the season 1 and season 2, then the 2 marbles.
Yeah. So, with that said, that is a quick setup and how to play Dice Throne. Specifically, we're going to be playing Krampus versus Santa. So join us in our next video where we do the playthrough. Thank you for joining us today at Fellowship of Games.
Just like and subscribe.